Looks like I have one viewer. If you can hear me, say something in the chat. Otherwise, I'll check back in a second to see who's here. There, you can stare at my face. Thought I deleted these. Okay. Well, if there's only one viewer, I'll still do it, but this is being recorded, so people can check it out if they don't want to participate in the live stream. But you can, you have me all yourself, so you can ask me any questions in the chat. I'm gonna try, I'm gonna try having the chat visible here. Okay. So, I think you guys are a little lost as what to do. So I'll give you some guidance here. First of all, Web Scripting 2 is a course that combines Python with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to create something called the Flask framework, which is a Python program that can dynamically generate web pages written in HTML and deliver those to a web server, which can then be delivered on to whoever's viewing the web page. So it builds it on the fly. So that's what we'll be learning how to use in this class. It is a very simple web framework. You could build quite a few useful little web apps with this after you're done with the course. You'll have all the skills you need to do that. If we have time, I might. The problem, okay, so we might even try to host an app. But the problem with that is you have to have a good understanding of Linux. That's another thing. We're going to be using Linux in this class. So you won't have to use the school VMs, but I got you guys VMs through Amazon, so you will have to connect to those. They should not, depending on your internet connection, they should be way better than the school VMs. And you'll be using those to complete a lot of things. In the beginning here, a lot of the stuff you can complete on Replit. So anyway, the idea is you would come into home, you're going to start at the top, you're going to work your way down, reading this stuff. This course isn't very organized right now. For this online, I might fix that a bit. But the biggest thing is this link right here that says link to course materials. This is our basically our textbook for the course. This has all the practice, all the exercises, okay? And it's organized into classes. All right, so we'll be going through all of these. We'll be learning things. We'll refresh your HTML knowledge. If you haven't used Git yet in any of my classes, you'll get some experience with that. That's version control software. And it's an amazing thing to know before you get into the job interview. That people are always surprised when my students know that. Okay. And then from there, we start building a web app to rate movies, step at a time, going over these different topics. So what I want you guys to do is this area here. You can, go ahead and take a look at all this. The objectives here will tell you these are the things, class 1, these are the questions or things you should know. Okay, so if you, after you're done working on the project and stuff, and watching the video or whatever you're doing all the prep work, you should be able to go to the objectives here and make sure you understand all of these major points, because maybe you missed something. I don't expect you to fill this out and turn it in or anything. That might be a good exercise though. Maybe next semester. I'll write that down. I'll edit this part out. Watch code, course materials, objectives, questions. All right, has anyone else joined us, or is it just us two still? Let's see. We have 2 people now. Oh, thank you. I need maybe I'll set up a second monitor to have the chat on so I can see what you guys are saying during the class. All right, here we go. There we go. So I consider myself a pretty tech-savvy person, but I didn't expect to have to produce live content. So bear with me. Here's the thing. I consider myself fairly tech-savvy. I have no idea what the less tech-savvy teachers are doing. But anyway, I guess I'm doing this more complicated as a live stream on YouTube anyway. I just wanted to record and be stored somewhere. YouTube's a really good for that. Okay. Anyway, thank you for pointing that out. That helps a lot. Okay. Next, where were we? Oh, right, objectives. Okay. So understand that stuff. Okay, eventually. Anyway, that's what you're supposed to be learning in here. And so how do you learn that stuff? Well, you go to the prep work, and then you just go from top to bottom. Some of these are, I think this is just an introduction. So this can kind of explain things to you and how this textbook works and everything. So you can take a look at that on your own. Man, I'm glad this is a video, because I show this in the normal class. I show this to people the first day, and then I think they just forget where all this is and get lost. Okay. Some of these things are videos. Okay, some of them are interactive exercises. Okay. If you get into this interactive exercise for HTML and you're like, you have HTML down, you're fine. If maybe you forgot or you want a refresher, there's a good little refresher there. Git, I'm not sure, a lot of you probably don't have much experience with that. Unfortunately, this part wants you to read part of a book. I guess I didn't notice it before. They have a video series also. Git is going to be a little more complicated, so I might make a separate video on that, or one of these live streams we'll go over how to use that, and then and what it is. You probably have to use it before that, so you'll just kind of muddle through. It's fine. I use Google Chrome. It's saying use Firefox. Whatever you want to use is fine. I know they're saying to use Firefox, so hopefully everything in here works there. I know it all works in Chrome because that's what we tested it on in previous semesters. Okay, so that's the stuff that I want you guys to work on, is getting through all of that. And then, so the class 1 prep work. And then you can take a look at this studio exercise. And this is kind of the practice exercise. It's very guided, okay? What does it say? Yeah, so this one you don't really create anything. It's just showing you how to use some of the tools. This beginning stuff is pretty simple. And then at that point, we not every class has an assignment. What we do is we build up. We're learning these skills in the beginning, and then the next class, we learn these skills, and then once we have those, we have enough to do the assignment. And then, so we'll be doing all of these. They're not all posted on Canvas right now, but you are able to work ahead, though it might be a little bit difficult once we get into the database stuff. So at some point before we hit the database stuff, we'll be transitioning from Replit to our Amazon workspaces, which are Linux machines, and we'll use Visual Studio Code and Git, and you guys will learn basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through the development, the steps of development, though they're going to be very short for us because we're making really tiny things just to kind of get an idea. You'll see the full process. It'll just be for something small, which people realize once you have a task and you have to solve a problem with programming, you will know whether you want to do this or not, because if you're stuck, while you're in class, if you're stuck, you can ask me. But I'm going to be trying to tell you how to solve the problem on your own, because that's what the job is figuring out how to solve problems on your own. If you have people, you can ask. I have a lot of contacts from networking. It's good to have contacts to ask questions to for people that may do more advanced things. So you build a pool of resources. Google's your best friend. And then in this class, I'm a resource. I mean, once you've taken a class with me, you can use me as a resource. Just email me. But anyway, what did I click on? Why don't you guys do, I'm going to have you guys work on prep work 1, and I think prep work 2 actually has some exercises maybe, maybe. Okay, they have some more interactive courses for you to work on. Some stuff to read about, more stuff to read about Git. So why don't you guys work on basically everything through the first assignment. Let's take a look at that together since we're all here, all 3 of us. Let's see how many people we have now. Ooh, 4 people. 2. Okay, some people might have came in and left. Okay, I think I made these public. It'd be hilarious if some people were just randos were in here. Okay. The first assignment. Okay, you've refreshed your HTML and CSS. So, it looks like you're going to make a web page and a CSS file. Now, here they're giving the setup. Okay, so this textbook and directions are just old enough to be different from what you need to do in reality. So it adds a little bit of challenge to getting these to work, but you can't literally just do what it says. Okay, you have to, if you get stuck, try to figure out why you're doing a step, and then that helps a lot. So for example, setting up the project, if we're just making a website with a HTML file and a CSS file, you just need to make those files. Here they're showing you how to do it if you're in Linux in the command line. We're not going to do that yet, so just ignore all that. Basically, right here it says, open a file in text editor, add this, save it. Okay. And then it wants you to create a Git repository, which for now, don't worry about that either. We're just using Replit. So anything that has to do with Git or Linux, skip over that. Okay, and then, okay, so basically you can just skip all of that setup and just go straight to this part 1 and 2 here. And this tells you what to put on the page. Okay. And then it looked like the other one has this stuff for CSS. Boop. Let's take a look here. Yeah, create this. And then here it's not going to tell you what to put where because this is the assignment. You have to remember from all your practice. And then they have a bunch of links here, but you can always Google things. Like if it wants you to make some text red with CSS and you have no idea how to do that, just Google it. Okay. This is almost just like a getting ready for the class type thing because you guys have, pretty sure most of you have done all of this before, except maybe not the Git stuff. Hopefully everyone in here has used Replit. If not, let me just do like a really quick, what is Replit? Let me log out. So do the full process. Okay, so I'm ready to do the assignment. I go to Replit, so repl.it, brings it up. This is a really amazing website. I want to tell more people about it, but on the other hand, I don't because I don't want it to. I think once it gets big enough, they're not going to offer it for free anymore. But if it doesn't get money, it's probably going to disappear. So I don't know. Anyway, create your account or log in. It's raining, so I don't have to water my plants today. Yay. What do we have? Okay, so you'll see a screen. Well, if you're creating your account, it'll pull up like an introduction that says, you know, tell me about yourself. You can just skip that or go through it. It's up to you. And then you can create a new REPL. And so if we're making a web page, we want to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Give it a name, or it'll give you a default name. Okay. Is this a word? Orange? Is it orange red? Orange red or orangered? Orangered. Oh, what is orangered? Oh, orange red. Okay. It's just weird to see that. Okay. And okay. And the nice thing with Replit is when you're doing an HTML project, they're going to assume you want a CSS file. They're going to assume you want an index file. So it's all the files are created for you already. You just got to go in and add what it says in the exercise. And then you'll submit. You can hit share up here. And then you can copy the link, and anyone you send this link to can go and see your project and run it. That'll be me. That's how I create it. Okay, so I think I have it on here. I'll just go ahead and post that. How much Okay, I'll put some pressure on you guys that are here. Which time we got? Okay, what do you what do you guys think is a fair? Should we do a full week on this? So maybe next Tuesday we'll talk about it, or would you rather it be due? What do you say? I'm leaning towards a week. It's just HTML and CSS, but you do have to do all that reading and videos and stuff. I mean, you got all week for that, so I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what you say. It's a democracy. Okay. Thank you for being honest. How many classes are you guys in where the teacher's asking you when when we should make something new? We should really be working together more as teachers and students to reach a common goal. So there shouldn't be some antagonistic part of it. Anyway, totally lost my train of thought. Okay, turning this on. HTML me something worth 1,000 points. I think I did have you use Git on this. So sorry about that. Let's see. Nope, I'm going to have you use Replit. So I'm going to change it so that you'll be submitting your links into a text box. So I think you'll only have one link for this. Okay. If I know some of you guys like to just go straight to the work and then move on, and I do understand that, but there's some information in here. I'll be honest with you because I don't think a lot of you are going to go through all of this. I do expect you to, but let's be honest here. Okay, so the stuff about Git, definitely look at that for sure. The HTML and CSS stuff, you can use it as a reference if you need it for the assignment. But again, if you want to, you can use that to refresh yourself. Okay, what else here? I got a link to it there. Okay, so you'll put your link in there. This is kind of the first thing. So this class is basically just these projects. So HTML me something, Web Caesar, user sign up, build a blog, blogs. So we go from making a static web page, which we did in 099, to Web Caesar is a actually FlickList 1 is where we'll start using Python to write our HTML, and then we'll start making a web app that stores movies that you've watched, so you can keep track of the movies. You can make a list of movies you want to watch. You can check them off. Once they're checked off, you can rate them. That's the app we're going to build here. And then after we learn enough for how to do forms, you're actually going to write a web app that does a Caesar cipher encryption on a phrase, and then can also decrypt it. That's what this is. So you'll handle input using the Python on the web server for that. User sign up, you'll start to use, you'll stop writing your web pages by scratch, and you'll start using templates to build them, put them together dynamically. Makes things much easier to manage when you have it in pieces that can just be pulled together and copied. So the user sign up allows people to create an account, but it's not, nothing gets saved between sessions. So you open the browser, you can create a new user, sign up, add movies, yada yada up to this point. But you can't, if you close it and you reopen it, all that's gone. Okay, so that's user sign up is showing you, you're showing me you can use the forms and store data and retrieve it. But we don't have persistence of data. And so how do we do that? Well, this web server and most web frameworks work with a lot of different database software. So we'll learn how to set up a database on a web server, build the database, connect it to our web app. And the good thing is Python Flask makes it very easy. You don't need to know any SQL to use it. Knowing SQL is very helpful, so there's a little bit of exercises in there for that. Anyway, build a blog. You now have a website where you can post forum posts. It's just a public message board where people can post forum posts. And then blogs is a blog where people can create accounts, log in, and post. And the posts are tied to their accounts. You can view all posts by a user, all that kind of stuff. And then the next part is we will do some practice with, but this leads into some ideas that will go into a later class. Okay, so any questions on any of that? Let's see, where am I? Nope. Okay, no, okay. So if you guys want to get started on that, I can be of, we'll end the stream here if there's no questions, but you can always email me and I'll get back to you if you're having any problems understanding what it's asking you. If you want me to be specific about what steps you need to follow, again, most of them are common sense, but there are vague things, and I've looked at this for 2 or 3 years now, so I understand it inside and out. If you get stuck, ask me. Try not to spend more than, an hour on a single task. If something isn't working, and you're trying every single thing, and you realize, oh, an hour has passed, don't keep going to 3 hours and then go into 8 hours trying to solve it. Email me. Though, I will tell you, the reason I say don't go for 3 hours or 8 hours is if you have that kind of programmer's mind, you will, when you run into these kind of issues, you won't be able to stop until you solve the problem. So that's why I'm saying don't trial and error it and search the internet to try to find that one piece when you can just ask me. I'll explain it so you understand it, and then we can move forward. So please do not hesitate to ask me for help. I will say, okay, web scripting 2, I said it's mostly projects and stuff. At this point, if you've made it to this class, I consider that you're serious about getting a web development or software development job. Okay, so what that means is I'm extremely hands-off, and I let you work on your projects. I'll help you as much, as much help as you ask, but I'm not going to, probably just show you it's not a lecture course so much as it is job training, actually. So take that for whatever it is. Though I'm still a teacher and I do want to help you. So I'm just going to rant forever about this if I don't stop. So I will post this video. I'll probably edit this rambling off at the end, but I'll post this video so people can get an idea of what they're supposed to be doing. Okay. I think that's everything. Okay. Yes. Okay. See you guys.